You know, one of the many flaws I've noticed in a lot of iconic horror movies is that a lot of them don't live up to their name, their genre. Horror. A lot of these movies aren't horrifying. And I know the immediate response I'm gonna get, given the fact that, well, first off, even if these movies aren't iconic, they still have a fan base. But two, these movies are in fact iconic, so the immediate response is probably going to be, well, that's just your opinion. It is? That's my opinion? Oh, thanks, I never fucking knew that. Gee, thank you for putting forth to me such wisdom that I am in fact just saying my opinion. I would have never fucking known that without you. You know, just because I don't put the word "in my opinion" at the start and end of everything I say, doesn't mean I'm trying to objectify everything which I say. But anyways, with all that out of the way, one thing that I've noticed is that a lot of horror movies seem to lack horror elements. And I'm going to prove this. What is horror? Fear. And how do you make people scared? And how do you make people fear something? With suspense, tension, and timing. All of these are important to make someone fearful of something. All of this stuff is important to make someone feel fear, to evoke fear out of them. This is the reason why the movie The Exorcist is still to this day a movie that people will be convulsed in trauma. They will be traumatized watching this movie. It's a movie which, even though it was made in the 70s, it still traumatizes people. It's been nearly 50 years since the movie's ever been made, and people are still traumatized by it. People are still terrified by it. And do you want to know why? Despite the fact that a lot of their effects were quite amateur, you know, pea soup and all of that, they still managed to actually make a good horror movie, because they had suspense and tension. The Saw movies and a Serbian film fail in this regard, because they fail at their basic understanding of fear. They don't understand it whatsoever. They'll put the payoff either in too soon or straight away, without even knowing that the payoff is supposed to be there after some suspense has been there, after the suspense makes you scared of the payoff. You know, it's been proven that the payoff gives a feeling of relief, whereas the suspense is what people are scared of. That's why the payoff is scary, because the suspense is added. Without any suspense whatsoever, or a premature suspense, having a premature suspense is not how to scare people. People aren't going to be scared if they have no reason to be scared. You know, throwing in a jump scare or throwing in an over-the-top scene can in fact be scary if you actually provide some sort of fucking tension to it. To have a build-up instead of making it constant, and this constant thing in your movie where you need it to be in there, or else people won't be grossed out by it. And you just need to throw it in, just so people are shocked by it. And that's all it's thrown in for. Shock value. People are shocked by it. They get a fright, just a little bit of a jump. They're not scared. They're not authentically scared. They got a little bit of a jump. The payoff doesn't even have to be there. For example, the movie Eye for an Eye. They showed a scene where the mother was calling up her daughter, saying, "Oh, hey, I'm gonna be late." The daughter says, "Okay, that's fine." And then says, "Hold on, I need to answer the door." And then the man strangles her, drags her into the house and starts raping her. Then proceeds to kill her. You don't get to see any of this stuff. The most you see is the woman struggling, you know, and it doesn't show you the entire shot. And the only things that it showed you was that, and the man hanging up the phone. They never showed anything else. The only thing they showed was the audio. They showed it from the mother's point of view, of her just hearing it. And then as she is stopping, trying to get people to hand her their phones so she can call the cops. This is suspenseful. This evokes some sort of fear. This is traumatic. This is horrifying. This is something which actually works. Something which is an efficient way of scaring people, to make them scared of the movie. Instead of throwing in all of these dumb fucking haymakers of, oh, let's show a baby getting raped. Newborn porn, newborn porn. Oh, let's see how much skin we can cut off of ourselves, and who cuts off the most wins. Let's tie our eyelids together and one person's mouth shut together, with no payoff, suspense whatsoever. It's illogical. You know what throwing in gore for the sake of throwing in gore just proves? It proves you have no understanding of fear. You don't understand what the fuck fear is and how to fear someone. Because if all you can do to try and evoke the tiny bit of fear into someone is by throwing in jump scares, throwing in gore scenes, it just proves how dumb you are. Implications can be a lot more scarier than just throwing in gore for the sake of it. Throwing in a scene where a baby's getting raped, or a scene where someone's cutting themselves. Implications can be a lot more scary in this case. Instead of making it this constant gore orgy, how about, I don't know, moderate it. Make some moderation into it, in which it's a lot more interesting to watch because you don't know when the gore's gonna happen. For example, the movie Fear. Ironic title since this is the topic, but, you know, the movie Fear. That only had a few gory scenes in it. The most goriest thing in that movie was a decapitation, and even then, the decapitation wasn't on screen. It was just the after effect which was on screen, just like in the movie Eye for an Eye. That was only afterwards, and that's why these movies are a lot more fearful, and evoke more fear into people, rather than the movies like Saw, and the movies like a Serbian film. I'm a lot more scared when something is thrown in for actual suspense and tension, rather than haymakers. The more obvious something is a haymaker, the less scary it is. I'd rather watch something which has minimal gore in it, rather than just this gore fucking orgy. And even, you know, you can use a lot of gore in your movies. You know, like Friday the 13th. That had quite a lot of gory scenes in it. American Psycho. That had a fair bunch of gory scenes in it. But it also had, I don't know, a basic understanding of fear. A good story. No haymakers. The more obvious something's a haymaker, the less scary it is. Movies like Saw, movies like a Serbian film, aren't scary. They're just disgusting.